Elon Musk is urging everyone to hold onto their Tesla stock tightly. He's making a bold prediction that Tesla's robots are going to drive a massive economic boom, potentially boosting the entire planet's GDP by 10 times.
I guess what I'm saying is hang on to your Tesla stock.
In a recent interview, ARK Invest once again confirmed that by 2030, from Robotaxi alone, not even counting humanoid robots, Tesla's stock could reach $2,600. And what about Elon Musk? In his latest post, he said that because of Tesla's autonomous driving, Tesla is already worth more than the entire rest of the auto industry combined. Then he went further. He said that once Tesla robots are mass-produced at scale, they could increase global GDP by 10 times. Right now, global GDP is about $117 trillion, which means Tesla robots could push global GDP to over $1,000 trillion. And actually, Musk mentioned at a previous shareholder meeting that the real expansion could be 10 times that, or even hundreds of times larger. As long as Tesla's robots succeed, there is essentially no upper limit.
With AI and robotics, you can actually increase the global economy by a factor of 10 or maybe 100. There's not like an obvious limit. Like Optimus is kind of like an infinite money glitch. I guess what I'm saying is hang on to your Tesla stock.
So yeah, Tesla stock has been all over the place lately, but Musk's message is crystal clear. Hold on tight. Today, we're getting deep into exactly how game-changing Tesla's bot is actually going to be. Cathie Wood and ARK Invest just dropped their 2026 Big Ideas report. And this isn't just another industry outlook. It's essentially a blueprint for the next decade of technology. The report labels humanoid robots as a massively underrated GDP engine. Sound familiar? That matches exactly what Musk has been saying about economic growth. Here's ARK's take. In this AI revolution, robots represent the single most important physical outlet for artificial intelligence, the ultimate tool for converting AI development into real-world economic output. And Cathie Wood's numbers back this up. Over the next 5 to 10 years, she sees a $26 trillion revenue opportunity in the global robotics market.
I'm going to give a plug to our research. It's been really interesting for me to watch our humanoid robot research evolve, because we've been saying, this is really hard. It's really hard. It's 200,000 times harder, or maybe I'm exaggerating, than a robotaxi.
As we all know, Cathie Wood's price target for Tesla is $2,600 by 2030, and she is still sticking to that number. But here's the key point. That target does not include Tesla's robots. The reason is that ARK has long believed that, compared to AI projects, robotaxi is already hard enough, and humanoid robotics is on a completely different level. In fact, the well-known AI professor Fei Li has also said that robotics is far more difficult than autonomous driving. She raised a really interesting point. She explained that self-driving cars operate in what is essentially a two-dimensional world. On a flat plane, they're focused on doing one thing, not hitting anything. Robots, on the other hand, live in a three-dimensional world, and their goal is actually the opposite. They're meant to touch all kinds of objects, to fold clothes, wash dishes, and cook meals for us. So, in comparison, autonomous driving is actually a relatively simpler problem than robotics. But then, Cathie Wood went on to say that this way of thinking may already be starting to change. And if that shift really happens, she could raise ARK's 2030 price target for Tesla even further.
And yet, I think, given our latest research, haven't we determined that it's possible, especially if Elon's driving the program, to have a humanoid robot, fairly flexible humanoid robot in 2028?
Cathie Wood revealed that based on ARK's current tracking of the robotics space, and especially given Musk's execution speed and how aggressively he's pushing AI forward, they now believe a genuinely useful humanoid robot could emerge by 2028. Wood admitted they initially underestimated how quickly Tesla's bot would progress, but they're now realizing something crucial. Optimus is built on the exact same 3 technology platforms as Robotaxi: AI, robotics hardware, and energy storage. Identical stack. That means ARK will likely update their valuation model for Tesla over the next few years to properly account for this. And the timing aligns almost perfectly with what Musk just laid out in his latest interviews. Musk's timeline looks like this. By the end of next year, meaning end of 2026, Tesla bots should be able to handle virtually any task you throw at them. He confirmed they're already deployed in Tesla factories doing simple work right now. This year, they graduate to more complex industrial tasks. By the end of 2026, they hit the consumer market. At that point, Musk says Tesla will be confident the bots have bulletproof reliability, full safety clearance, and the capability to do almost anything you need.
Humanoid robotics will advance very quickly. We do have some of the Tesla Optimus robots doing simple tasks in the factory. Probably later this year, by the end of this year, I think they'll be doing more complex tasks, but still deployed in an industrial environment. and probably sometime next year, I'd say by the end of next year, I think would be selling humanoid robots to the public. That's when we are confident that it's very high reliability, very high safety, and the range of functionality is also very high. You can basically ask it to do anything you'd like.
Of course, Musk's end of 2026 target will probably slip. He's already moved the goalposts once. Back in 2024, he promised production would start in 2025 and consumer sales would begin in 2026. Now, that timeline has shifted. But here's the reality check. Optimus is a from-scratch innovation project. Tesla is literally doing something no one's ever done before, which means it's packed with unknowns. Musk described it perfectly, like driving a train while simultaneously laying the tracks ahead of it. One bottleneck anywhere in the chain, and the whole thing stalls. Last year, Musk actually faced a critical fork in the road. Right now, we're seeing what's essentially Generation 2, or maybe 2.5, of the bot. He could have pulled the trigger and started mass-producing that version. But he made a bold call. Generation 3 is going to be so dramatically superior that manufacturing Gen 2 would be pointless. So he killed it. They're skipping straight to Generation 3. Yes, that decision delayed the whole program. But when volume production finally kicks off, we're getting a radically better machine than what was originally planned. There's another reason for the delay, though. Musk made it crystal clear that if his compensation package hadn't passed, he would have walked away from building robots at Tesla entirely. For him, that vote wasn't about the money. It was about securing voting control. He wanted absolute authority to guarantee that when these bots are deployed everywhere, their safety standards are locked at maximum.
But really, it's not about compensation. It's not like I'm going to go out and buy a yacht with it or something. I need to have something like a 25% vote. But my concern would be, creating this army of robots and then being fired for political reasons, or the activists at those firms fire me, and then I cannot ensure the safety of the robots.
We all know the past 2 years have been a wild ride for Musk. He was either deep in the political trenches or fighting tooth and nail for his compensation package. So let's be real, he definitely wasn't operating at full capacity on the robotics front. He simply didn't have the bandwidth or authority to push Optimus forward at maximum speed. But that chapter's closed. Now you've got Musk back in the building, back in his element, operating in full wartime CEO mode. And mark my words, the pace on the bot program is about to explode. Here's a data point that should grab your attention. One of the most prominent angel investors in the game, also a podcaster who's interviewed Musk countless times, just toured Tesla's bot facility. And when he saw Generation 3 in person, he said it absolutely blew his mind. His prediction? Optimus is so revolutionary that in a few decades, the world might completely forget Tesla ever made cars in the first place.
2 Sundays ago, I went to Tesla with Elon and I went and visited the Optimus lab. There were a large number of people working on a Sunday at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And I saw Optimus 3. I can tell you now, nobody will remember that Tesla ever made a car. They will only remember the Optimus, and that he is going to make 1 billion of those. And it is going to be the most transformative technology product ever made in the history of humanity, because what LLMs are going to enable those products to do is understand the world and then do things in the world that we don't want to do.
Yeah.
I believe it'll be a 1-to-1 ratio of humans to Optimus, and I think he's already won, but I don't want to speak out of school.
He claims this will become the most transformative technology product in human history. Here's his breakdown. Large language models, and specifically the Grok models Musk is building over at xAI, will give these robots the ability to understand our world and execute tasks on our behalf. He believes we'll eventually reach a 1-to-1 ratio of humans to robots, and as far as he's concerned, Tesla has already won. This year, we're getting the official reveal of Tesla's Generation 3 bot. And speaking of hands, we've actually seen them already. Musk has always said the hands are the hardest part. Look across the industry and you'll notice everyone else is severely lacking in hand dexterity. But here's the thing. Without human-level hand agility, you can't truly replicate or replace human labor. And critically, you can't leverage massive datasets of human videos to train the AI. You'd be stuck relying purely on synthetic data, which demands astronomical compute resources. Because robots need to train on infinite scenarios, the computational requirements compared to Robotaxi are literally orders of magnitude higher. That's why Musk confirmed Tesla will build a second supercomputing cluster specifically for the bots. The current infrastructure handling FSD and Robotaxi training is already at capacity for that workload. Meanwhile, we got a glimpse of the competition this month. Boston Dynamics started deploying their Humanoid in factories too. One immediate difference: their joints can rotate continuously, pulling off maneuvers physically impossible for humans. But here's the catch. A Boston Dynamics engineer admitted their bot only has 3 fingers. Why? Because robotic hands are an incredibly complex engineering nightmare.
So why does he only have 3 fingers?
Robot hands are an extremely complex engineering problem. Human hands are incredible machines that are very versatile. We could do many, many different manipulation tasks with the same hand. And so when we design hands for Atlas, they don't look exactly like human hands, but they have a lot of the same capabilities.
Which is essentially the engineer admitting that designing a hand as capable as a human's is just too difficult. They couldn't crack it, so they settled for 3 fingers. But that creates massive limitations. Obviously, you can't perform surgery with that kind of setup, but Musk, he's on a completely different level. He claims Tesla's bot will surpass the precision of top human surgeons within 3 years. And not just that, the number of robots will exceed the total number of surgeons worldwide.
It takes a long time for a human to become
ridiculously expensive and long.
Ridiculous, a super long time to learn to be a good doctor. And even then, the knowledge is constantly evolving. It's hard to keep up with everything. Doctors have limited time. They make mistakes. And you say, like, how many great surgeons are there? Not that many great surgeons.
When do you think Optimus will be a better surgeon than the best surgeons? How long for that?
3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Right now, training a world-class surgeon takes decades. It's not like planting an apple tree. You can't just grow another one overnight. It requires years of education, hands-on practice, and accumulated experience. That's exactly why top-tier surgery costs a fortune, and why access is so limited. But once you crack the code, once you've trained that first bot to master surgery, every single unit rolling off the production line instantly inherits that capability. We're talking about mass-producing millions of elite-level surgeons every year. And it gets better. These machines will quickly surpass human limitations. No fatigue, no hand tremors, no declining vision with age. Their precision and consistency will blow the best human surgeons out of the water. Actually, this transition is already underway. Robotic-assisted surgery is already happening in operating rooms right now. The human surgeons are still there supervising, sure, but they're increasingly just monitoring the machines. The shift has already. Here's Tesla's massive structural advantage over every other player in this space. They can fund this whole operation themselves. Most robot startups are burning cash and living quarter to quarter on VC life support. Boston Dynamics? Still bleeding money, propped up by Hyundai's investment. Figure AI? They're not profitable either, just raised another funding round last September to stay alive. But Tesla? They're sitting on over $40 billion in cash. That means they can pour everything into R&D without stressing about next month's payroll or appeasing impatient investors. They can play the long game. And here's the irony. Obsessing over short-term results usually sabotages long-term breakthroughs. But if you're an unprofitable startup, you don't have that luxury. One funding winter and you're dead. We've seen this exact movie before with autonomous driving. Slap some LiDAR on a car and you can demo a rough self-driving system pretty quickly. It looks like progress, but long-term, pure vision beats it in every metric that actually matters. The catch is that pure vision requires insane upfront investment, and you might not see meaningful results for years. But once it works, it doesn't just beat LiDAR, it obliterates it. Also, ARK Invest broke down the robotics investment math, and the returns are absolutely staggering. Here's the scenario. The average American worker costs about $50,000 a year in wages. Over a decade, that's $500,000 in value. Even if Tesla's bot costs $100,000 to manufacture upfront, you're looking at a 5 times return over 10 years. But Musk says the price will eventually fall below a car. Think $25,000 or less. Now flip that equation. These robots aren't just replacing $50,000 a year positions. They're replacing elite neurosurgeons, making $500,000 annually. At that level, we're talking 10 times, 15 times, maybe 20 times annual returns on a single unit. That's exactly why ARK says institutional capital is flooding into the sector right now, the same way billions poured into ChatGPT and Grok. Everyone's betting on these specific multiples. Generative AI saves labor costs and boosts productivity, sure, but embodied AI, physical robots, the total addressable market makes software-only plays look tiny by comparison. So with all this capital flowing into AI, the bubble question keeps coming up. People look at AI investment relative to GDP and see parallels to the 2000 dot-com crash. ARK's verdict? This is fundamentally different. Back then, we laid millions of miles of fiber optic cable that mostly sat dark. Vast overcapacity that never got used. Today, every single GPU rolling off production lines is running full throttle, burning electrons non-stop. When capital deployment generates immediate, measurable returns like this, it's not a bubble. It's a supersonic tsunami of economic expansion. Wrapping up on Robotaxi, Cathie Wood made it clear, we're still in the absolute infancy of that market.
He's saying those aren't dark. They're in short supply, and they are being used. And we agree completely with that. Robotaxis, and we believe that we are in the midst of the birthing of the robotaxi market.
Wood believes Tesla's competitive moat against Waymo is actually widening, not shrinking. Even if Waymo somehow achieves true scale, she estimates Tesla's Cybertruck-based ride-hailing cost will be half of Waymo's. That's a crushing structural advantage. Meanwhile, legacy players like Uber and Lyft finally woke up. They see the autonomous writing on the wall and are scrambling to partner with any self-driving startup they can find, desperately trying to claim territory in this future market. But here's Cathie Wood's brutal take. Platforms like Uber will ultimately devolve into mere lead generators, glorified middlemen directing traffic to the real technology owners like Tesla and Waymo. Personally, I think in the end, Tesla will be the only actual operator in America. Everyone else becomes a funnel. And the numbers back this up. ARK calculated exactly how many robotaxis it would take to replace human drivers across every US city. 24 million vehicles. That's the total addressable market.
So we did a calculation. How many autonomous vehicles would Tesla have to produce, or Waymo, to cover 1% of urban miles? That would be 140,000 units. Now, what would be the number? How many vehicles would it take to cover all urban miles? And that number is only 24 million.
For Tesla, 24 million vehicles is actually a completely achievable number over the next several years. Looking ahead, Musk plans to produce 4 million Cybercab per year. Tesla has already produced over 8 million vehicles, so reaching 24 million in the next decade is definitely doable. But for other automakers like Waymo, the story is very different. They currently have just a little over 2,000 vehicles. Producing 24 million is virtually impossible. Without that scale advantage, how can you maintain a price advantage? Cathie Wood points out that ARK Invest expects that by 2030, the entire robotaxi ecosystem could be worth $34 trillion. Revenue would reach $1.9 trillion. EBIT would reach $1.8 trillion. And company valuations are assumed at 19 times EBIT, resulting in $34 trillion. ARK believes Tesla will capture most of the global robotaxi market, which is why they project that Tesla's stock could reach $2,600 by 2030 from robotaxi alone, not even counting humanoid robots. So when it comes to Tesla's valuation, you can see that Cathie Wood and Musk are largely aligned on the big picture. Whether you're looking at the short term, 5 years, or the long term, 10 years, there's a massive driving force behind Tesla. Recently, Tesla finally removed the safety driver, achieving a truly driverless robotaxi. This is arguably the biggest milestone in Tesla's history. Of course, there's still the so-called safety car, and the numbers are still small. But honestly, you have to ignore the noise. When you truly understand the long-term trend, you can separate signal from noise. I know that sideways movement can be hard for most shareholders. Everyone wants to see their money go up every day. And it's especially frustrating if you bought at the top and then the stock drops 10%, 20%, or more. But the same frustration happened when Tesla was trading around $300, $200, or even just over $100. If you've held long enough, you realize that current fluctuations are nothing compared to future growth. Right now, this sideways period is actually the perfect opportunity to add to your position.
I guess what I'm saying is hang on to your Tesla stock.
Thank you for watching today Money Daily. If this video helpful, even just a little bit, please like, share, and subscribe. On the road to the future, we are strong when we're together. See you in the next episode.